Welcome back to Barley and Hops. I'm George. God, you know what? We enjoy what we do, running this operation. We work 4 days a week. This is great. But the most fun I have and the most enjoyable time is the time we get to spend with you. So please share us with your friends and come back as often as you think you need, and we'll cover as much information as we possibly can. Our intent is to make you as successful as we possibly can and introduce you to different techniques of brewing and distilling and some equipment that's on the market today. And we try and test everything that we get into the store, so we'll make sure we can tell you with a reasonable amount of certainty that if you follow these step-by-step instructions, you have a reasonable amount of certainty that you will be successful as well. So, I want to show you today is and I'm just opening it up now. I mean, I've got one of these and I've run it. It's called the Outback. It's from Mile High. It's an 8-gallon pot reflux still, but it's the Outback, and it's got some really unique features that I think that you will find interesting. So keep in mind as well that you can always order this directly from milehigh.com, or you can go on our website or get in touch with us. Call us at the number. You know the number. Give us a call and order it directly through us. The price is the same. The only difference is you get me with it. You may or may not want that. Who knows? Okay, here's kind of what we get with it, and I'm going to open this up little by little and just share this with you. Let me just take everything out of here, and then we'll describe it piece by piece. And then we'll also go through an assembly, and we'll talk about that piece by piece. This is so much fun. I never run out of the interest of the science of distilling. And, I've talked about it before that, this is a perfect marriage. Distilling in particular is a perfect marriage of science, technique, art, and a lot of bone luck. But this is this perfect balance of all of these great and wonderful things that happen that give you the opportunity to be totally in control of something and to be able to predict the outcome at the end. And then when your results do come out the way you anticipate them to, it makes you feel so wonderful about yourself. Plus, it's very economical. When stop and think about it, it's not really that expensive. It's a lot cheaper than golf or some of those other hobbies that we tend to get into and get out of pretty quick. All right, I'm going to take this plastic bag off of here because that's how it comes. Mile High does a wonderful job of using high-grade stainless steel, and their craftsmanship is really, really obvious when you start to look at the product very, very closely. Their welds are very, very meticulous and very well done, and the product itself is very, very sturdy. So you won't have any problems with the product. All we got to do now, we got to work on your process, and we got to work on your attentiveness to developing your mash and your techniques, and you'll be just as successful as everybody else. Okay, this is the 8-gallon kettle, and the 8-gallon kettle comes with, this is called the Outback model. The Outback model comes with this connector here. Now you can put, this is a 1/2-inch NPT connector, a national pipe thread. So you can put a thermometer in there, you can put a plug in there. There's a couple of different things you can use that for. We'll get to that. There's a 2-inch opening, and on this opening, this ferrule, we can use this ferrule, we can put a cap on this ferrule and close it off completely so that we can put this on a burner, a propane burner if we want to do that, or we can leave that open and we can put a heating element in there, and I'm going to show you that because we've managed to do that as well. And there's a bunch of different options, which is what I love about this hobby, is there's so many options out there available to us, from the very, very cheapest to the most expensive. You can go nuts, just be careful. All right, these are the hoses that come with it. All these hoses, we'll set these aside until the time comes where we absolutely need those. Okay, let's get started. In this small white box here, you'll find that this is the dial thermometer that comes with the still. Now, this dial thermometer is also a 1/2-inch NPT, national pipe thread, so you can screw that into the kettle itself. You can get an extra one to find out what the kettle temperature is. But this one in particular is we're going to use for the top of the column, so we'll know what the head temperature is. Now, let me offer an opinion here at the same time. Can you use 2 of these? Absolutely. You can use one at the head and you can use one here at the kettle. My question to you is going to be, what would this temperature tell you other than how hot this is? If the critical temperature that you need to track and adjust and work from is the head temperature, then if that temperature is, just for sake of argument, if that temperature is 190, what are you going to do? You're going to do nothing. If that temperature is 200, what does that tell you? It just tells you that it's 10 degrees hotter than it was a minute ago when it was 190. But it doesn't give you any indication that you ought to be doing something. So the temperature in the kettle is not the critical temperature that you're working with. The temperature that you're going to work with is the temperature at the head of the column, which is the temperature that you want that vapor to go out into the condenser. So that's what I offer you. A lot of people want a thermometer in the kettle because they want to be able to tell what the temperature is in the kettle, and I understand that. And if that's what you want to do, if you just want to know what it is, that's fine with me. Hell, buy another one and put it in there. You're more than welcome to it. Okay, but my point to you is that it's not going to serve it'll serve a useful purpose by telling you what the temperature is, but not a very useful purpose. Meaning it's not going to give you any actionable information that you can make an adjustment from. That kind of wraps it up. No actionable information from a thermometer in the kettle. Your actionable information comes from that thermometer on the head. Okay, these are the rashing rings, which are packing for the column. And you get 2 bags of that. You're going to get 2 rolls of copper. Now this copper, if you use the copper sparingly, you use it the right way, and you continue to clean it after every use, it'll last you almost indefinitely, but you've got enough copper here to last you, by gosh, forever. Forever, almost a forever and ever and ever. So let's place that aside. We've got the 2-inch gaskets, and we've got several of those. We've got a small gasket. We've got the clamp. We've got the larger 2-inch clamps. We're going to set those aside. This is, oh, by the way, the first thing we'll do is we'll open up one of these clamps, and you'll find inside that bag, you're going to find a disc. And it's a 2-inch disc, and that disc goes with a gasket right here on the outside of that 2-inch ferrule, and what that does is it closes off that port. But after closing off that port, what that does is it makes that port available to us for a lot of other options. And I already mentioned one option is going to be the heating element to heat this. So right now I've got it set up to where I can just use it on a propane stove. But if I want to use it with a heater element, I would take that clamp off and remove that plate and just set that plate aside. Because that's all that is just a cover. All right, water hose connectors, male and female. Here is a plug. It comes with your kit. That's the 1/2-inch NPT plug that goes right into that hole, so you can plug that off. Oops. There are several small clamps for your water hose that go on the water hose. And this, here we go. Now we've got an empty bag. We've got all of our clamps, and they're unscrewed. This is really high-class equipment. High-grade stainless steel. I mean, you can just feel it. It's got weight to it. It's got, pizzazz. It's got oomph. It's got what you're looking for. When you grab a hold of something like this, this is not a toy. Although we play with it. All right. Now, all right, this is going to be the condenser. This is going to be the bottom portion of our column. And we have 2 portions of this column. We've got a top portion and we've got a bottom portion. So this is our bottom. Let me wrap that up pretty good. There we go. Very well done. And this is the top portion of our column. Now the top portion of our column has, let me get this open so that I can show you. It's better to show you and describe than to try to describe and then show you afterwards. Okay. It has this small tube that comes out of here, and this is the exit port for your condenser that we're going to add onto that. And then this will go on top of this, which will go on top of your still. Now, you'll notice here that this jacket that goes around the outside of the 2-inch pipe, your 2-inch column, pipe column. This is a column with a jacket on the outside. This jacket is used as a reflux jacket. And we're going to describe exactly how that reflux jacket works, how it operates, because you can operate this as a pot still or as a reflux still. It's totally up to you. And while we're doing that, we'll explain it. We'll even explain the differences between the two. Okay, what I need to find here is I need to find one more gasket. This is going to be the connector for the thermometer that's going to go at the head of the still. There's that gasket. What I can't understand is why, oh why, I haven't found it yet. I know it's here. Yeah, don't fret, I found it. There was that small gasket. It's a 1/2-inch gasket that goes to the end of the condenser here that attaches between there and the column. Just be careful. I mean, it's there. If you can't find it, look around for all your parts. I found mine actually hidden inside one of these regular water clamps. All right, now it's time to put the lid on. Okay, the lid comes with a screen in the bottom, and that screen prevents anything from falling back inside, down through your column, back inside your kettle. And then you've got the clamp that holds it on. Now, here, forewarn you, if this clamp came that was already pre-lubricated, if it doesn't, just use a little bit of WD-40, put a spurt on there. Remember that this is a butterfly screw for your fingers, not for a pair of pliers. So just caution, just please don't use a pair of pliers on there. Okay, and the only thing it requires is when you put this on here is to wrap this your clamp around it and then screw it down, and you're going to screw it down until it's tight, as in finger tight. You're not going to use a pair of pliers to tighten it, and you'll notice how easily this screws down, and all it takes is just really a cinching, because it's going to collapse that neoprene gasket underneath of that lid there, and it just needs to be cinched nice and snug. That holds that. Okay, now this whole still together from bottom to the very top is probably about 51-52 inches, and 51 to 52 inches is going to place it. If I'm standing here and it was sitting on the floor next to me, the very top of that still is going to be somewhere around here, around chest level for an average person. So around chest level. Now I offer that to you as a point of interest because there are stills. The 3-inch column is going to be extremely tall. Once you place that, you have to take that into consideration. If you place this on top of a turkey fryer or a burner, you got to add that to it as well. And in some cases, depending on the size of your heating element or your heating surface, when it comes to a 3-inch column, you may need a step ladder to get to the head. And we don't want that to happen to you. So let's first thing we'll do is place our gasket and then our 2-inch tri-clamp. Give that a screw and seat that on there. Now, if you'll bear with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down because it's time to place the second portion of this column on there. And I'll get a clamp ready. And that goes here. Now after you put this together 1 or 2 times, where this column goes in relationship to where the handles are and where everything else is will be totally up to you. So of course you can put it just about anywhere, but there are going to be some places where it just kind of makes sense, where it's a little bit more convenient to be in one place than it is the other. All right. Now the last thing that we're going to add to this is we're going to add the condenser. And I'm going to add the condenser in such a manner so that my in tube is on the back side and my out tube, this is called a shotgun condenser. The in tube's on the bottom and the out tube's on the top, but my in's going to be on this side and my out's going to be on the opposite side. Does it really matter? No. I could put it this way. I could put it that, well, there's 360 degree options for me here. So it really doesn't matter. It's whatever really makes you comfortable. Okay, place that there. And so there, my condenser is now connected. And where I have these tubes facing is going to be totally up to me. Now, here's another interesting one, is we're going to put one more with this connector here on the very top, and this has a 1/2 inch NPT, National Pipe Thread. Now, I wonder what that's for. Now, remember we were talking earlier about head temperature. And head temperature is our critical point. It's our critical measuring point. That's our data point. That's where we find out what's going on inside the still. Well, look at here. And this is called the Outback. Come on, there you go. Righty tighty lefty, there it fits right on there. Okay, so now we've got our thermometer here. Okay, now you can see that I've got quite a bit, again, this is what, 52 inches or so. Now with the thermostat, I told you about 52 inches, just about chest high. With the thermostat on that, it's going to be a total of just shy of 59 inches. 59 inches, just shy of 5 foot. 5 foot is 60 inches. And I'm trying to figure out what that is in centimeters. Right now it doesn't come to me, but we'll try to approach that later on. All right. Now, we have some options. And options in town here are the heating source. Now remember, we talked about the heating source being a propane burner, a turkey fryer, or something similar to that. Or we can use something that we ordered that came with it, that you can order that comes with it. It's a 2,000 watt heater element. 2,000 watt heater element. And a heating element controller. And both of them are produced by Mile High, and they're available for your still as well. Now, are there other options? Absolutely. We're going to cover some of those. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to describe these to you. And this first one is just a box, but it's a heater. It's a variable control element, or a variable controller for your element. And what this is you plug in, switch on, and then it's low, and then incrementally higher, medium, until you get to max. So you've got manual control, which is a controller that will control low, medium, or variable. It's a variable controller all the way up to maximum power. This is your 2,000 watt heating element, which is 120 volts, plugs into standard 120 volt house current. Now, we did this on the other one to figure out we have 2,000 watts divided by 120 volts equals 16.6 amps. So just make sure that whatever you're using, whatever circuit you're using, can handle at least 16.6 amps. So I would try to isolate a 20 amp circuit if at all possible. Now, let's remove this column. And the reason I want to remove the column is to give myself some room so that adding the heater element is such an easy task. All we've got to do now is just remove this C-clamp, or I'm sorry, the tri-clamp that comes with it. Remove the plate. This is the plug, the cap. Add the gasket back on there. Insert your heating element. And then reinstall your tri-clamp. There, now you have a 2,000 watt heating element that runs on 120 volts, that's inside your 8-gallon kettle, and that is more than adequate. I'm telling you, more than adequate to heat that still and to operate it. And with your variable control mechanism, you can control the head temperature. Now, that's sort of like a complete kit. That's all in one place. You no longer need fire. You can do this inside. Well, you can do it inside the house if someone else said it's okay. but you can do it just about anywhere as long as you've got electricity available. Now remember, we've got 16.6 amps. You could opt to not use a controller. If you did not have a variable controller, you could stand in front of an extension cord that is rated, of course, that is of a higher tension to carry the 16.6 amps, and you could plug it in and unplug it, plug it in and unplug it, and try to match that temperature and maintain that temperature. That would be a little bit laborious. It could be challenging, if nothing else. If you had a switch and you wired in a switch, just a regular light switch, that was rated at about 20 amps, it's a pretty substantial switch, yes, but it's an on-off switch. You could stand next to it and turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, and continue to monitor your temperature like that. That's another option you have. One other option is go back and watch one of our videos on the TD4 PID controller, the proportional integral derivative controller. Wire one of those up yourself and then insert the thermocouple in place of the thermometer and plug it in, and then set the temperature and allow that. It's almost like a virtually hands-free operation at that point, except for the times when you have to change the temperature through your process. Now, what we have not covered here is we have not covered exactly how to run a still. This is just the assembly of the still. Something that is really, really beneficial about the Outback is the disassembly process of the still. And you're going to find this just fascinating because everything fits inside your kettle, so you can store it anywhere you want. I'm going to remove the heating element. You see how quickly this comes apart. That fits inside your still. The clamps fit inside your still. The thermometer comes off. The top column comes apart. The center column comes apart. This portion fits inside the still. The bottom column fits inside your still. Your clamps, your gaskets, everything fits inside the still. And if you're careful, you can even get the heating element inside that still. And you can put your top back on, and you can store that still in the closet, and it will be out of the way, and it will be complete. Again, this is a marriage of science, technique, practice, art, luck. There's a whole bunch going on here, and we know that you'll be successful. Our intent is to make you as successful as we possibly can. So until next time, make sure that you keep everything clean, be safe, watch the rest of the videos. We've got a couple of videos coming on about electricity. We've got to touch on the basics of electricity so that everybody is safe. And without further ado, happy distilling.